I don't even recognize who you are.
Oh,
look at you.
That's right. Oh, no, I had the mustache.
You had the mustache at least last week. Now look at you.
I know.
You first of all, no beard. It's coming in slowly.
A little bit, yeah.
Little 5 o'clock shadow. No beard. No Weekend Trav attire.
I know.
What in the world?
No mustache either.
No mustache, no nothing.
Who is
no
this
American
guy?
flags anywhere. Supposedly this is weighing in with Travis Hartman.
From St. Joseph, Missouri, here is Travis Lee Hartman.
Hopefully.
That there is Weekend Trav. I am B-Money, the producer. Thank you for joining us for episode 43 of Weighing In with Travis Hartman. Special thanks to our media partners, TH Boxing, IF Enterprises, and Gulfstream Financial. As always, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your support and what you do for us. Weekend Trav, good to see you. We're coming to you from the TH Boxing facility on a Monday. Usually we're here on Sunday, but we're here on Monday.
Ow, now, brown cow. Sorry.
I think
Loosen my lips.
Okay.
You like it.
Your vocal cords are warmed up, I guess. So, Weekend Trav, I know we talked pre-production, a couple of things that we wanted to get into. We are going to discuss Canelo Alvarez taking on Billy Joe Saunders in about 2 weeks. We'll kind of tee that fight up. Talk about some other things that were going on over the weekend, some thoughts in general, what's going on with pay and things like that, because that seems to be getting a lot of headlines right now. So, that being said, Weekend Trav, good to see you.
Good to see you, B-Money.
Cheers to you.
Cheers, brother.
We're also going to talk about what we're drinking, if we remember to. So, that being said, Weekend Trav, let's go ahead and just jump right in, unless you have some opening thoughts.
Well, yes, I do, real fast.
Let's do it.
I want to congratulate Josh and Rebecca Douglas.
Amen.
Who got married on Saturday. They are on their way to the honeymoon right now, but congratulations, you guys. We wish you the best. God bless you. It was my honor being there to see you guys get married in South Carolina. And from Weighing In with Travis Hartman, B-Money, Weekend Trav, we wish you guys the
Congratulations. All the best and lifelong of happiness. And it reminds me of my best man toast that I did at my best friend's wedding, though he's currently going through divorce. But the best man toast.
Okay, let's hear it.
May your ups and downs in marriage only be between the sheets.
That's very good. I got even a better one.
Okay.
So he ended up not having, we just did like a close family and friends wedding. It was very, very, I think 25, maybe 25 people were there. And they just ended up being up there by themselves and they were bringing it in. I was supposed to be in the wedding, but since he condensed it down, didn't even have it. So at the reception, I got up and I said, hey, I know I'm not the best man.
Good Lord. I can only imagine.
I want to go ahead and give a speech here. So I got up and I said, a wise man once told me that a best man speech is supposed to last as long as the groom lasts in bed. I set the mic down and walked off. And I sat in my chair. And everybody was like, wait, what? And then they finally got it. That my speech was like 5 seconds long. And that's how long Josh lasted in bed. I'm just kidding, Josh.
Boom. Got him.
It was a fun wedding, though.
Got him.
It was seriously a fun wedding. It was a blast, and the weather held off. We danced, we did it. It was great, and I wouldn't drive up there just for anybody. It was a 7-hour drive one way, but it was awesome. Like I said, to see one of your friends get married, and I met Josh the same time I met you. Actually, I met him at UFC gym, so that was around the same time I met you. So that's how long I've known him. But regardless of all of that, it was awesome. We wish them the best, but. Let's talk about some boxing.
Let's jump into boxing.
That's what we're supposed to do, right?
Let's do that. Let's talk about the upcoming matchup between Canelo Alvarez and Billy Joe Saunders, coming to you from Dallas, Texas. AT&T Stadium.
Or Dallas Cowboy Stadium. Or Jerry's World.
Jerry's World sounds better.
Yeah, that actually kind of sounds better.
Cowboys Stadium, it's like,
You're just jealous that our stadium holds... Your stadium would fit inside of our stadium.
Yep. How many would all of our world championships fit inside the trophy case there?
Yes.
Probably not. It's not big enough. The trophy case is really small.
We have the same.
Trophy case is really small.
We have the same.
Well, we're talking Super Bowls and world titles.
Oh, you're talking about like
Classics.
You're talking about like before the NFL was
Classics,
formed.
like leather helmets.
Oh
Classics.
my gosh. Okay, well, yes.
It still counts.
Because the Green Bay Packers were the only that existed. There were two teams.
Yeah.
It was the Green Bay Packers and the Chiefs. That's it.
Just because a team's been around a long time, you can't discredit it. Anyways, we are sidetracking.
They're so old they fart dust.
Oh,
Literally.
You don't yet?
The Green Bay Packers are so stupid. They were there when Jesus walked across water, and they said, it's got to be the shoes. You're welcome. Okay.
I think you peaked on your best man speech. I think that was the. Okay, so we're getting back to it. Canelo Alvarez, Billy Joe Saunders. Canelo's fighting for about the 20th time this year.
Right?
Give me a rundown to your weekend, Trevor. We're not asking for a prediction yet.
Yep.
That's going to come next week, not during podcast, but we'll do a separate video on the prediction side.
Yep.
But give me a rundown of this fight, how we got to where we are, and how you see this progressing into the fight itself.
Listen, don't sleep on this fight, okay? And what I mean by that is Billy Joe Saunders. So I used to do a radio show for like 10 years before we did the podcast out of California, and then COVID hit and it all shut down. That's why we started this. But on that podcast or on that radio show that I did, I said it on there about 4 years ago. I was like, if there's one person that I think that can contend and possibly beat Canelo Alvarez, it was Billy Joe Saunders. I was like, I don't think they should fight that guy. I think that guy has the style and the intelligence and the ring IQ to possibly beat Canelo. I'm not saying he's going to beat him for sure because Canelo is that good. But Billy Joe Saunders has all the makings to beat a Canelo Alvarez. He's a lefty. He's crafty. His ring intelligence is through the roof. The guy is super, super smart. He just got quick hands. He doesn't really hit that hard. He's 30-0, so we can't discount that for 1-2. He's 30 wins, 0 losses. However, he's only got 14 knockouts. So that's kind of the knock on him is he can't punch hard. But at this level, it doesn't matter if he can punch hard or not because almost every one of the world title fights, they go the distance. You know, Canelo, when he fights guys like Triple G, they go the distance. There's not a knockout, and Triple G is a knockout artist for sure. But at the high level like that, there's not a knockout. So what I'm saying about that is if you don't have knockout power at that level, that's okay because usually it goes the distance anyway. Mm-hmm. So I'm not making my prediction because usually I would make a prediction even a couple weeks out. I'm not making it because I'm not comfortable with it yet. I'm literally not comfortable saying who I think would win yet. And obviously Canelo is going to be the favorite, but I don't know. I don't know if that's who I'm going to predict yet. And that's where like I'm at a crossroads because I have argued for Canelo being pound for pound number one. I have. Sure. Even though I have Terrence Crawford number one, I've argued multiple times on the show, especially as of late, that I was just like, he's got the resume. He's been so busy.
Yeah, he's a fighting champ.
Dude, he fought twice in like, 3 months? He's getting ready to fight 3 times in like 5 months. Like, the guy's an animal, and you have to give him respect because most of the top guys, they don't do that.
So would you say, so this is going to be his strongest test since who?
Triple G.
Yeah.
This will be his strongest test since Triple G. Well, yeah, I mean, you could say that, but I would have said that when he moved up to light heavyweight at 175 and fought Sergey Kovalev at 175, I would have easily said that Kovalev was his strongest test, but he ended up knocking Kovalev out, which was crazy. But I think without a single doubt, everybody could admit that Triple G was Canelo's strongest, toughest fight, his last really strongest, grittiest, toughest fight, and he fought him twice. Mm-hmm. So easily, and that was, let's see how many years ago that was his last time he fought. So he fought Golovkin in 2018 was the last time. He fought him in 2017, September of 2017, fought him again in September of 2018, so exactly a year later. And
so we're getting to
draw the first one, and then he won the second one.
So we're getting to about 2.5 years, and everyone in between that, not going to say that they were just, scrubs or anything like that, because no, they're not. They're athletes.
You have Daniel Jacobs in between there, too.
They're good. They're great fighters, but not to this caliber.
Exactly.
So, and this is just me trying to play devil's advocate, because I think it's going to be a good fight. I think Canelo should come out on top, but just play devil's advocate. Do we maybe think right now Canelo seems a bit preoccupied with a lot of different stuff, more than normal? It seems to me that he's busy training helping train other guys in the facility. I see him out there golfing with
Ezekiel Elliott with the Cowboys.
Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, all these things, and that's all great. I'm not trying to say anything against that. You should enjoy your life too. You should have a fun time. But I just feel like, are there distractions now? Now that really the microscope is on him as a standalone pound for pound. I think if he wins this, there's no more debate. He should be number one there.
I will openly say that on our podcast. He beats this guy because right now, Terrence Crawford doesn't even have a date, doesn't have an opponent.
Yeah.
I think that he might just be trying to wait this contract out because I think in like September, October is when his contract ends. As of right now, I wouldn't blame him.
Think about a weekend travel.
I wouldn't blame him.
By the time people are actually seeing this, maybe for the second or third time seeing this, we're already in the month of May. It's at the end of April as we're filming right now.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Close to 26
May.
today, yep.
Terrence Crawford doesn't have a lot left on that contract, and there's a lot of bigger fights in the middle.
And he doesn't have a lot of leeway with me either because I've been a massive Terrence Crawford advocate. I have. I've like advocated that he's number one pound for pound. So obviously other people have said that too. But he's been, not only has he been inactive, even his active fights, he's not fighting the same people that Canelo's fighting. Even though Canelo fought this Avni Yildirim who the guy gave up. But before that, he fought undefeated Callum Smith, who was like 6'3", 6'4". He fought Sergey Kovalev at light heavyweight. He fought Daniel Jacobs, who almost beat Triple G as well. And then before that, he fought Rocky Fielding. Not so much a great fight. But then he fought Golovkin twice. So his last, since 2017, Canelo's resume is off the charts. You can't touch it. Nobody else in the game right now has fought he's fought in the last
with quantity
4 years.
Okay. But definitely quantity
and quality,
yeah.
Though. I'm saying because he fought
Callum Smith is a good one. Yeah.
twice Golovkin, Daniel Jacobs, Kovalev, and Callum Smith. Those are the ones that I really consider. And then now, obviously, it's going to be Billy Joe Saunders.
Yep.
So Canelo's resume, his lifelong resume is just out of this world anyway. I mean, when you have Mayweather on there, it's pretty phenomenal. But his resume in general is just, it's a Hall of Fame resume, and he's beaten those guys. Other than Floyd Mayweather is the only one he hasn't beaten. But right now, his last 4 years, dude, there's nobody in the game right now that can say they fought the guys that he's fought.
So usually I pose this question to you on how this guy beats this guy, right? So in this case, how does Billy Joe Saunders beat Canelo? Let me flip it around a little bit because I think the answer will be a little bit different. How does Canelo Alvarez lose to Billy Joe Saunders?
Man, you just flipped the script right there. That's good wording.
It's not the same question.
What are you, a wordsmith?
I'm a word wizard.
That was
There used to be a thing back in our day. Remember there were word wizards? It was like almost a handheld electronic thesaurus.
Yep.
Yeah. So you guys don't know this stuff. You could play Hangman on it and stuff. You remember that stuff?
We're showing our age right now.
We're so old.
but
You remember?
I do feel old
Are
now.
we allowed in this woke society to call a game Hangman? I hate that term, by the way.
So,
Not
it's
Hangman.
actually getting so old now.
It is.
It was funny for a little bit, and now I'm just like,
Because every boomer is saying woke,
Yep.
go broke,
Yep.
stuff like that. I hate it. Maybe we'll talk about that later. So Canelo Alvarez, how does he lose to Billy Joe Saunders?
So the script for how Canelo loses is, I'm going to actually disagree with you on the fact that he's distracted because Canelo has been the face of boxing for about three plus years. Mm-hmm. So I think that he's used to this. He's been doing a lot of the same stuff he's doing now. He's been golfing now for a little bit. He loves golf. But that dude's a machine. That guy lives in the gym. So is it possible that he can be distracted? Yes. But every single top guy out there can be distracted the same token as he can. But I do consider Canelo one of the greats already. I do. He's almost 30 years old. So
As
not
do I.
already, but he's, 47-0 or something? So he's more than that, actually. He's 55-1.
It's a wild amount of fights.
55-1. But I do consider him a great already. I think he has the discipline to not be distracted. So if he loses, I don't think it's going to be because of that. But how he loses this fight is if he fights this guy like he fought Arizlandi Lara. Okay, Arizlandi Lara is a Cuban who's a lefty, and he's very slick. He can box, he moves. He's just a really slick fighter. Nobody ever blows out Arizlandi Lara. They barely beat him. And Canelo barely beat Arizlandi Lara. Nobody wants to talk about that fight because it was a while ago. But he won a majority decision, I think, even. I think one of the judges even scored a draw for that fight. So it's a sneaky fight that nobody talks about. And he was a lefty. So Billy Joe Saunders, he's a lefty. He can box. He can move. If you watch what Billy Joe Saunders did to David Lemieux, he schooled him, made him look childish. However, Canelo is not David Lemieux, so he has that going for him, obviously. So how Canelo loses this fight is if Canelo is not able to cut the ring off on Billy Joe Saunders, he's going to have to cut the ring off. Because if he allows Billy Joe Saunders to sit on the outside, pot shot him, and move and move and move and not get hit, he's going to make it a boring, ugly fight, but Canelo will lose the decision if he does that. So if Canelo can cut the ring off, which I think he will, he's a smart fighter, and he's going to have to go to the body. If Canelo doesn't go to the body, which is going to slow his legs down, that's the first thing you do with a guy that can box and moves really well. You go to his body, because in the later rounds, it slows him down because it tires him out. You hit him in the hip, you hit him in everything. You know, it's an illegal shot, but you do it on the inside. Just do little things like that. And Canelo's that type of fighter. He's a smart fighter. He knows that. So to lose this fight, though, he don't cut the ring off. If he doesn't cut the ring off, go to the body early and wear him down and break him down, he'll lose this fight. And the thing is, he's going to lose this fight, but he's going to lose it so cleanly that his face won't be marked up and won't be beat up. When he's done, he won't even probably be breathing hard, because that's what a good boxer does. They'll beat you, and after it's all said and done, you're just like, wow, I still have so much energy. I don't know if I should have did more. And that's what a Mayweather does as well. Like, literally will just pot shot you, move, and beat you. And as we know, Mayweather beats Canelo.
There you go.
Is Billy Joe Saunders Mayweather? Absolutely not. However, though, Billy Joe Saunders is a lefty, just like Arslan Lara, and he's crafty and he knows how to fight. Billy Joe Saunders is in the camp and is really good friends with Tyson Fury. If you know anything about Tyson Fury, is they're both incredibly intelligent inside the ring. Their ring IQ, or we call it, is through the roof. They're super smart. You put them between those ropes, and they're super smart. They know how to think on the fly. They're just that good, which not very many fighters can do that. Canelo can do that, obviously, as well. But Billy Joe Saunders is crafty. Ring IQ is just out of this world. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But that's why I can't make the prediction, because also Billy Joe Saunders has a habit of not showing up to fights sometimes. But he only does that when it's not a big fight.
Gotcha.
I've never seen Billy Joe Saunders show up to a big fight not prepared.
Which, this being the biggest fight of his career,
Yes.
30-0, possibly going to 31-0 or 30-1. And so that's coming up, not this weekend, but the following weekend. May 8th in Dallas, Texas. That's an interesting matchup, and it seems to me almost not, I want to call it the kryptonite for Canelo, but the weakness for sure.
Yeah.
When you look at those other names that you had mentioned, very similar styles, one being left-handed, one being orthodox. Yes, but kind of a similar style. It's just the pot shot, moving, smart, fluid in the ring, isn't going to take big risks, big gambles. That seems to be what is almost the weakness for Canelo.
It is.
So we will see. That should be pretty interesting. And to take your words and say, no, you're wrong, you are making a prediction. It just won't be tonight, and it's not going to be next podcast episode, but it will be the standalone prediction for the fight before the fight, probably a day or two before the actual matchup.
So tune in, because I've been on my game since really being off of my game when I was messed up with the Teofimo Lopez and the
that caught half the world, I think.
yes, that was Lomachenko. Teofimo Lopez and Lomachenko.
Yes.
A lot of people got that wrong, but I still hate the fact that I got it wrong. I should have found a way to pay attention closer. I don't know what. If I had to do it over again, I probably still would pick Lomachenko. But regardless, I got that wrong. But it spurred me on. I haven't gotten anything wrong since.
Yeah.
Okay. I've gotten a round wrong because I called the the 10th round against Canelo, and but I still got the winner right. I only do the round just for play.
But how many people got that joke of a fight, MMA versus boxing, the other weekend? Who got that right within a minute?
I mean, with literally, I was 238 and it was 159.
Yeah. So that was pretty
Of the
good.
first
So I
round.
would say this: if you aren't subscribed yet, and if you're not, you should really question not only why you're not subscribed, but question your life at this point, really, because you get entertained by us on a weekly basis. You might listen to our stuff, and then you don't subscribe. What's the point? What's the point?
You're not liking, you're not subscribing, you're not sharing.
I mean, all it takes is a thumb up and click the little subscribe button, and you can even hit the bell notification icon. I don't care what you hit it with. You could use your finger. You can use whatever fleshy body part you got. subscribe.
Fleshy body part. We get some pretty good comments now too, going back, especially
Yeah.
with that Ben Askren versus Jake Paul. We got some really good comment section there. Everybody was pretty positive, I think, for the most part. Even the guys that didn't agree, we were pretty positive.
Well, the main negative people kind of went back into their cave, into their holes, and decided, I'm going to
Yeah.
go back here and pretend that didn't happen and keep supporting my guys that don't get paid because an overlord is taking all their money away.
Listen, I mean, it's funny that you say that about the comments, though, too, because I went back and I liked certain comments.
Yeah.
Just to like it because they got the notification to saw that I like. I was waiting for them to kind of come out and like gracefully come back and say something, but they didn't, which is fine. I didn't want to gloat.
No. So it's not that. So what we are mentioning, though, is that there's such a pay discrepancy in combat sports world, right? Boxers, obviously, bigger audience, and still, in our opinion, the numbers say it. I mean, you would think everyone says boxing's dying or dead. I might have been in that camp many years ago too, but when you actually see the numbers, it's not. Like the pay-per-view buys, the actual watches when it's on ESPN or wherever else, DAZN, everything else. People are watching, and the fighters are being paid. Okay, when you get into MMA, which MMA is great, that's such a good sport, a great sport to watch, and it's a very entertaining. But the fighters get paid peanuts in comparison, and it's amazing to me, especially when you take a large company like UFC. I forget how much they pay or they sold themselves for.
It's like $3.2 billion or something like that. Crazy.
An incredible amount of money, yet the fighters are barely making it. How is that possible?
Yeah.
How is that possible when you get somebody off of what's known as a quote-unquote YouTuber coming in with minimal, still enough boxing skill to put on the performance?
Yep.
He's a good talking game. He sells it, so kudos to him on that. How much money did he make versus one of the top guys in UFC or any other MMA company?
I guarantee you that Jake Paul for this last fight made more money than everybody in the UFC, minus possibly
the
Conor.
real top guys, yeah.
Conor,
Yeah,
obviously.
Conor or
he
some of the
probably
other
made
top
more than
champs.
Conor.
And we're not saying that, ha, MMA. No, it's
No, not at all. Like, I respect that.
it's
Like,
pay the guys.
It's-
Pay the girls. Pay them.
the conversation that I had with people, too, is just, it's obviously I'm a boxer. I love boxing, so that's why I'm always defending boxing. I am, because I think boxing is a great sport, and I want it to be factual that boxing, we're doing okay. We have been for a while. Post Mayweather, we have been. Canelo's there now. Even before, like, Mayweather was like carried the sport for a while. So you're talking the last like 10 or so years. Boxing's been doing pretty good. I mean, Mayweather made over $200 million for one fight.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying about that is that the average span of a UFC guy's career is far shorter than a boxer's. Okay? So with that being said, you would think that they don't have as much time in their life to make money in UFC, so you would think they would get paid more because their lifespan of their career is less. But they're not. Their career span is like average is like 3 to 5 years, and they're making less.
Yeah.
So Dana White is a brilliant marketer. I call him an evil genius because he makes a ton of money.
Yep.
And he's got a good product, obviously.
Absolutely
Because
does.
MMA, is it bigger than boxing? No. But is it struggling? Absolutely not.
No.
It's growing. It's doing well. I think it's plateaued a little bit, but it's plateaued at a high. Like it's there. So
Yeah.
it's not going down. You know what I mean? It's been going up, and I think it's plateaued a little bit. But regardless, it's very popular. Those guys are still the top guys. They're making a little bit of money still. But you're talking about like 1% of them.
They've done a good job on the changing of the guard. Once you get some of the older names, that's some of like, as I was watching in the early days and as they broke out onto TV, those guys are long gone now, retired, whatever else. They've done a good job at kind of passing the torch now with some of these other names. The problem is that belts change hands a little bit more than usual, or guys get injured, so you get like a interim champ. That's my gripe with boxing.
Yeah,
There's
same.
so many, like, who knows who's a champ. Either way, my point is this. It's not an argument about glory of the sport and the fight game and all this other stuff like that. No. Because we respect the hell out of you guys and gals. Anyone that steps into any sort of cage or squared circle across from another person in combat, you have mad respect.
Massive respect. Yes.
Here's my problem is that you are not compensated for what you put forth. Your body, your blood, sweat, tears, the emotional component. Hell, we just had Ryan Garcia take a step back just because for the mental clarity, things like that. And that's okay. And there's no problem with that. But when it comes to the MMA world, you guys are, guys and gals, drastically underpaid. And that, in our opinion, is not fair. Not fair at all. Weekend Trav, if I was a mid-card boxer on an average pay-per-view, what would be my usual purse?
On an average
On average,
card,
estimate.
Yeah, we're talking. So I'm going to give you a wide range, though.
Okay, that's
fine.
fine.
I'm going to give you between $100,000 and $500,000.
Yeah.
That's mid-level. You're talking the main event. You're looking at way more.
Exactly.
Than that.
For mid-level,
Co-main event even.
on an average pay-per-view, and that's a wide spread, but that's not happening in the MMA world. It is not at all. That's why you're seeing guys, in my opinion, these guys start to clown with Jake Paul a little bit and try to sell something. They're trying to get in line, maybe not necessarily with him, but somebody else, to get some of that boxing money.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
I don't either. If you can get it, get it. Like, get it. But I would like them to put up a little better of a fight than Askren did.
And so then the flip argument is, well, those guys don't step down and step into a cage. Why would they? They want to get paid.
Well, here's the deal, too. And this is what I want to really, really tell everybody that let's really talk about that, because Mayweather, this all started when Conor McGregor called out Floyd Mayweather not to come to the octagon. Okay, he said, I'll fight you in a boxing ring. So I have no problem with because I'm like, boxers aren't calling out MMA guys and being like, we'll fight you in the octagon. We're not, because I respect the octagon. Mm-hmm. Okay, can I fight? Could I roll around a little bit? Maybe, but I don't want to, because I know what you guys do. You do more than just boxing. There's a ground game.
Right.
I don't have it because I've worked my whole life on the stand-up game.
Yep.
Okay, I don't want to do it, and I'm not going over to MMA for that reason. But MMA guys, you guys are calling boxers out in the ring. So the only reason I bring this up is because I reject the notion of everybody like, oh, well, come over, like Jake Paul, come over to the octagon. Jake Paul's not calling out. Ben Askren was calling out Jake Paul. Yeah. Jake Paul wasn't going, come on, I'll beat you in the octagon. Jake Paul didn't call him out. So that's my thing is those guys, listen, don't be like, oh, well, we'll kick your ass in the octagon. You probably will. That's why we don't call you out, because we're perfecting our sport. Stay in your lane. That's what I want to say. Stay in your lane. And if you don't stay in your lane, don't give me this crap. Well, if you come in my lane, I'll beat you. Yeah, you probably will. But guess what? I'm going to stay in my lane because I know my lane. Listen, and I respect MMA guys. I'm in my lane.
Listen, and I'll take that. I'll take your words and twist it a little bit. I say, keep on coming in the lane and get paid and provide for your family.
Fair.
Do it. If the opportunity presents itself for a mixed martial artist to box, somehow get on a card, maybe it's against a Jake Paul, some other guy, I don't know, it's kind of almost like a circus act at this point. But if you're going to get paid six figures,
crazy.
How often does that happen inside the cage for you?
I mean,
not talking sponsors added up to that. I'm saying the actual check from the
purse.
UFC.
What was, I wish we had this number. What was Ben Askren's highest payday in the UFC?
Oh, couldn't even be close to that. No, because he made, what was his preliminary number before any like pay-per-view buys, things like that? Wasn't it like 400 or 500 on this fight?
It was 500,000. Yeah,
500,000.
That was his purse for boxing. And that was guaranteed.
And so obviously it was higher than that. No, there's no way. There's no way. And so that begs the question. I think we can travel. We've talked about this in some of our earlier days on the podcast. We talk about, is there ever such an idea to have a union, or no. I don't know.
So
these guys and gals are just getting taken to the woodshed by Dana White and the like, and they are literally sucking you dry of all your funds and barely giving you any of it back, and they are doing fine themselves. They're making the money, and they're barely paying you guys and gals.
I believe when Dana White and them sold the company, so Dana White sold it, but he retained, like, I think close to 50%, 48%, something was his stockholder. It might have been that high, but it was pretty close. And he retained being the president of
Yeah.
the company, which he's controlling operations
Yeah,
still.
I don't know where the Fertitta brothers are in that still, if they are at
They're
all.
out. They're out.
They're
They're
out.
out
I mean,
completely.
they have the casino stuff and
They
everything
sold
else.
it to this. It was a conglomerate out of China, I believe. Actually, it was
China.
an Asian conglomerate. It was like
China's buying into
4
everything.
or 5 years ago. Well, because they got a lot of money over there. They manipulate the market so well. They have a ton of money.
Listen, you want to manipulate this podcast, China? You tell me, comrade.
Start sending us some checks, bro.
I'll put that red hat on with that star and that sickle
No,
thing.
you will not.
No,
America. Where's
I
the
won't.
Oh, the flag? The flag is right there.
That's right there.
We can't see the flag on the podcast right now, but the flag is up there. We have American flag overlooking us because you know why? America.
I like Thai food better, anyways. So,
I mean, actually, truthfully, I do too.
yeah.
I love Thai food.
Anyways, where were we going with this? The fact that we don't want so.
The union thing. That was a good,
Well,
very good. It was a very good topic, though.
But I want to kind of make it this point. I want to drive this point home because we've talked a lot.
Drive it home, Big Daddy.
We talked a lot about this leading up to that ridiculous pay-per-view on Triller. The fact of this is never an MMA versus boxing thing. This wasn't Rocky going against Thunder Lips in Rocky 3 when it was pro wrestling versus boxing for a charity match, and it was Hulk Hogan, though he was Thunder Lips in the movie.
Thunder Lips.
Yeah, it was nothing like that. This was not two sports pitted against one another. Not at all.
Okay.
This was purely for show, and two guys got paid. Okay?
They got paid.
They got paid. And kudos, Ben Askren, you got paid, and that was legit. There was he didn't take a dive or anything like that. You got paid, and I support the heck out of that. If somebody else wants to come over the aisle from MMA and get paid, go for it. And I hope at some point one of these guys actually beats a boxer, because then you'll keep getting paid. Because if MMA
All
guys,
it takes is one.
If MMA guys keep coming over and they just get lit up all the time, eventually you don't get paid. Eventually people don't want to watch that. So I want to see that happen. I think that's good for both universes, because what happened at this weekend's pay-per-view, guess who was in the house? Everyone's favorite idiot. Jake Paul. And everyone's chanting F Jake Paul, F Jake Paul. And you know what? He's cracking up because he's laughing all the way to the bank.
He is, and that's just so.
Daniel Cormier gets in his face. You don't want to know why? Because he wants to put his name on that list just in case. Because he wants that 500,000+ payday.
Dude, listen, it's crazy, but you know what's also crazy is, listen, if the MMA guys want to come over to boxing and ever want a shot at winning, it's going to be against a Jake Paul.
Sure.
Because, listen, I'm going to be a little bit cocky for boxers because I know the sport. There's going to be no true, legit pro boxers, and I'm talking about like a Regis Prograis or even a Ivan Redcatch, who quit, by the way, but any of those guys, I'm telling you, and most people that I talk to were just like, oh, there's no way that was a legit knockout. You know, Ben Askren takes punches from 4-ounce gloves, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, watch the fight. He was rocked.
Yeah.
He went down from a legit shot. When he got up, was he okay? He probably was, but he stumbled, and no matter who you are, they're going to call the fight off. And the only person that really truly knows what Ben Askren was going through is that referee. They look you right dead in the eyes, and they can tell whether you're good to go. So my point is...
Well, Ben knows too, and he hasn't argued it either.
At all, not at all. Yeah. But he is, and it sucks that he has to argue the fact that he didn't throw the fight, because he didn't.
Because, listen...
It wasn't rigged.
Because, listen, he's a credible person and fighter. You're gonna question that guy's integrity?
Yeah, because that's what you're doing. Yeah.
He represented the U.S. in wrestling. Give me a frickin' break.
He's not throwing a fight.
No, the point is
he's a true competitor.
Is that people are just butthurt because they can't envision that people that are animals in the cage, rightfully so, they're killers. They're great athletes.
100%. Ben Askren is a legit
destroy
killer.
somebody. But once you go into a one discipline sport arena, don't tell me that all of a sudden your wrestling background is going to help you. It's not.
And this is where I'm going with this, is that you're right. And it's just that I'm telling you, boxers punch differently.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with one of my clients. I trained one of their kids, and he was in here, and he's actually a boxing guy. And he was just like, "You're going to tell me, Travis, that Ben Askren has been in the UFC and gets just smokes with 4-ounce gloves, because that's what they use, is 4-ounce gloves, and he goes over to boxing and he gets knocked out with a 10-ounce glove on." And I was like, yeah, I'm going to tell you that, because I'm telling you, boxers punch differently than MMA guys. And MMA guys are tough. They are. But there's so much technique that goes into what a boxer does. Is Jake Paul to the point to where he's like an expert yet? No. But look what he did, and he can punch.
So what I would like to see weekend Trav, and we're not going to talk of the union stuff because you know it will never happen. But what I want to talk about, I don't mind seeing crossover. I wouldn't mind. So all those names that we heard about, like that Ben was in the ring, like in the cage with, like a Robbie Lawler, I would love to see him cross over and fight some mid-card sort of boxer. I would actually be entertained by that. I want to see, okay, because Robbie Lawler has great stand-up. I want to see how it does match up with an actual boxer, how the footwork matches up. I'm like, when you look at the game itself and kind of the artistry behind it, I'm actually intrigued by that. Not, oh yeah, the MMA guy's going to come in and woo-doo-doo. No, I want to see it. The disciplines against one another would be fascinating to me. And I think that's good for the fans and good for the fighters. Let them get paid because you're not getting paid in the cage. You're not.
Well, here's the deal too. And this is where, if you ever realize when MMA guys that are coming over to the boxing, if they ever take it serious, and I know they don't mean it, but for me, Ben Askren and Conor McGregor disrespected boxing. And the reason I say that is because they came over and they automatically thought that they were at the top of their game in the UFC, that they could bring it to boxing. And they couldn't. Conor McGregor got knocked out by Floyd Mayweather, who is not a knockout puncher, who was retired for multiple years. So what I mean by this is, if they wanted to take it serious, Conor McGregor, if you brought him along like they're bringing Jake Paul along, Conor McGregor can fight.
Yeah.
He's got a very good stand-up.
Yeah.
He does. You watch the fight against Mayweather. Granted, the first 4 rounds, Mayweather let him do that. He did. You watch the fight, and you ever watch any of Mayweather's fights ever, he's never fought the way he fought like he did against Conor the first 4 or 5 rounds. So, but I can watch that, and I know boxing. Conor can fight. He can. But he came over to boxing to get paid, not build a boxing career. Guhowever, if he started where Jake Paul's starting at, he wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
But until an MMA guy comes over and tries to do something like that and builds their career, I won't respect it because they're coming over to get paid. I'll respect that they're coming to get paid, but if you want me to respect you as a fighter and you're coming over to the boxing arena, which is my arena that I spent my whole life in, blood, sweat, and tears, I'm not going to respect it. I'm not going to respect it. You want to get paid? Fine.
Yeah.
Ben Askren came over to get paid.
Yeah.
Okay? Conor McGregor, same thing. If you guys want to be taken seriously, is the point I'm saying. If you want to be taken seriously, you come over, you build your career.
Yeah.
You don't come over and call it, because what happens? None of those guys have fared well against a top guy.
It's just I think it's just kind of a weird gray area, especially with the context of what we're talking about, because I don't think necessarily it was only Ben calling out Jake Paul. I think he was more of a hand-picked opponent as well.
Well, they were actually calling out Dylan Dennis, and then all of a sudden, some rumblings.
So,
can I not claim Jake? By the way, Jake Paul, I'm giving him credit. He can fight a little bit. He can. Not taking that away from him. However, I saw him give him some interviews. So finish your thought. But I saw him give him some interviews. Jake Paul doesn't speak for boxing.
No.
So I want to make that clear.
He doesn't speak for humanity.
Well, he was saying in a couple of interviews, he was like, it's boxing versus MMA. I'm like, hold on, Jake. I'm giving you respect because Jake can fight. But you don't speak for boxing.
He's
not yet.
He is a marketer and showman number one. That's it.
Kudos to him, bro. He's made a lot of money doing that.
I'll push back on the respecting a little bit. I think, yes, it's disrespectful to me if somebody comes in from the other sport and says basically that they're representing the sport against the other sport. That's disrespectful. But if it's someone coming over like, no, I want to kick that guy's ass. I want to fight that guy. And actually puts the time in. Don't go in.
I don't feel like Ben Askren.
No, he didn't. He went and spent a week with Freddie Roach. He's supposed to spend 2 weeks. He spent a week.
Did I not tell you too? I was like, that's not going to do it.
No, it's not.
Damn thing. I said it on the podcast.
And
good for him.
Everyone's saying, oh, yeah, no, Freddie, if anybody can. No, Freddie, come on.
Nobody could do that.
Freddie Roach is awesome, but he is not the same Freddie Roach as he was 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Even if he was, a week is not enough.
A week's not enough.
Period.
You're telling me that
2 weeks
you can break
down
a fighter's mechanics and rebuild them up? No way.
That's what's crazy about
no
boxing.
Way. Now, get same example. If Ben was working with Freddie Roach for like 6 months,
that's different.
That's a lot different.
It is.
I think that fight could have been a lot different.
And the only reason I would say it's different is because a normal. Okay, I'll tell you the difference is if Nate Robinson was working with
Anybody. If he's working with anybody.
Freddie Roach for 6 months. He doesn't do anything.
He didn't work with anybody.
It just doesn't come
Did he
overnight.
train with anybody?
I don't know who he trained with, actually.
Good
But
Lord.
my point is, though, is that at least Ben Askren had a wrestling background, and there's a lot of leverage that comes along with that, and your punches and your technique and all that stuff it doesn't completely translate, but if you work with a guy like a Freddie Roach or an actual boxing guy, he could have helped him a lot more. Even, I'm going to tell you, as a boxing coach myself, even 6 months is not enough. Boxing is a weird effing sport, and I've been around it long enough to where you can't teach it in 6 months,
I don't
in a
think
year,
it's enough
in
time.
2 years.
I don't think it's enough time if you have zero combat sport, anything.
Yeah.
But if you're a professional athlete, I think you're going to pick up on things a lot quicker.
It would have. That's what I'm saying. That's what I say about Ben Askren, 6 months with Freddie Roach. Would you have seen a massive difference? No. You would have saw something small. And even if you didn't see it, I guarantee you Ben Askren would have felt it and seen it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But
like you get
Nate Robinson, no.
You got some schmo off the street like me for 6 months. I'd walk in there and be like, "Where's the weight room?" That's all I want. So
stay buff.
Buff dudes, check them out on YouTube. Buff dudes. So that's my pushback on that. Yeah, it's disrespectful in certain contexts. When you look like Woodley, who was just cut by the UFC, by the way. Yeah.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was cut by the UFC.
Like recent?
Yeah, within the last week. So when you get someone like him,
he's gonna want to box now.
Yeah, he's gonna, and more power to you. If you want to come in and do that,
yeah, he'll make some money.
But do not say you're representing a sport against another sport, because that is disrespectful.
Yep.
And Grant, if you just want to fight a dude, cool. I'm okay with that. I don't find that as disrespectful at all.
No.
Put the time in. Be willing to fight. That's it.
Yes.
But also, be honest with yourself. You want to get paid, because you're not getting paid over there. There's only a few people at the top getting paid over there in that promotion.
But and this is where, like, I know that I'm biased, though, Brandon. B-Money is that I'm telling you, and my fighters are seeing this. So I've been a professional boxer for over 16 years, amateur over 14 years. So you're talking about 30 plus years that I've been in boxing, right?
Sure.
But I've also been in training where I trained other people for 10 plus years as well. I've also trained MMA guys too. So when I look at all this, and this is just from all my experience coming into the experiences that I'm telling you guys, and I promise you, Ben Askren knows that now, even Connor knows it. Boxing, and I can't speak to MMA, but boxing, it's hard to fucking learn. You don't teach it overnight.
Why you gotta drop the
I
F-bomb?
know. I'm sorry, but it was passionate about it.
No,
you just can't.
No,
it's like
I get
years.
Trust me,
I'm talking years.
I completely understand that completely, because when you look at these guys who are considered guys and gals who are considered some of the greatest strikers in MMA history, yeah, but they're also striking against MMA fighters. Okay?
Yep.
Which, yes, are very disciplined and skilled in certain respects, but they're not skilled with the pure sport. They're not with the, whatever you guys call it. They're not just trained from a boxing standard.
They're not a trained pugilist.
They're MMA fighters.
Yep.
Okay? Going against MMA fighters. And yes, you might be the best striker ever in MMA. But did Anderson Silva ever eventually get into a boxing ring with somebody? They kept talking about it for years. Did you see him?
Roy Jones, no.
Did you see him finally do it? No.
You know why? Because he was a smart guy. He knew.
He would have gotten worked.
He knew what he was good at.
He couldn't use his legs. He couldn't use his leverage. He couldn't use any of that. And then Father Time catches up. Stay
in your lane, bro. I know this. And I'm not saying that for them either. I'm saying that for myself. Stay in your lane, bro. Do you know how I could easily come over and I could fight one or two UFC fights. I guarantee you I could get into that arena, not making a ton of money at all. But I could. I don't want to, because I can only do stand-up. And I know this.
But also you could spend the same amount of time training for that and go work at 7-Eleven and make more money. So what's the point?
In the TH boxing facilities, I'm doing okay, so I don't need to go do that.
There's this gray area weekend, Trav, and this goes not just with the fight game, but with anything. How much is your pride worth? How much is that worth, where you're taking time away from your family and the disrespect you have to deal with, everything? Yeah. What is it worth for your own pride and ego?
And I think that even though I've seen Ben Askren talking on a couple of podcasts and stuff like that, he's like, you know what, I'm going to go back, I'm going to coach my fighters at my wrestling academy and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, though, I promise you, he's having to address this whole thing because he did get his ass kicked.
Yeah.
So even though he made $500,000, it's affecting his business a little bit still. So you have to be careful with that because even though it was boxing, I know. Even though it was boxing, I know. But I'm telling you, as a customer-driven business, which is what we are in, it doesn't take much for people to be like, wow, this guy got his butt kicked on national
but see,
TV.
I'm going to disagree with that because with his customer base, it's not striker
It's wrestlers.
base.
It's a wrestling academy.
And on top of that, how many more people do you think subscribe to his podcast during this whole thing?
Well, so you're talking about his podcast. I'm talking about his academy. Podcast.
Do you really think he lost?
Sure, they're listening.
You really think he lost some wrestling?
No, but I think
people?
that he had to address this a little more.
Of course.
Than he probably liked, and he probably will continue to do it. 6 months, people will forget about it. People will forget about it as soon as Jake Paul fights somebody else. So let's hope Jake Paul fights somebody sooner.
Let's hope
they'll forget about it.
Let's hope they forget by the time there's another crazy Triller pay-per-view on, which is coming up this summer with Teofimo Lopez.
June something, right? Early June.
Yeah, I really hope the format's a lot different. Listen, we put up we ripped that thing to shreds last week. Find it up on our YouTube channel, wherever you find the podcast, audio and visual. It's on there.
B Money broke this down.
There was a comment, and I appreciated the comment. He broke down. He's like, "This was basically therapeutic for me to listen to you guys break this thing down." And I was like, "That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for.
Listen,
we're here for you."
This is where B Money comes in handy because B Money he's a financial advisor by trade, very organized. Breaks stuff down. I almost said that's where I did. Breaks stuff down. He's very good. He's got this little notebook over here. He doesn't always use it, but lately, for the Triller thing, he broke it down. We had bullet points for the Triller.
It's still here.
B Money had bullet points, and I liked it.
I thought you would think that I sat down in a pay-per-view and I just started writing my list of atrocities.
Right there.
Here's my list of atrocities of that thing. I really hope in June or whenever Teofimo's on that there's no big list of atrocities. I'm sorry.
We have to watch it.
Snoop Dogg, love you to death. But I don't need you in front of the camera all the time.
Snoop Dogg, I love your music to death.
Yeah.
Your boxing analogies and your
boxing
prowess.
He wasn't. With that, going back to that, he wasn't actually the worst part. Because you kind of understood what you were going to get.
Yeah.
It was the other guys on the panel that were supposed to be boxing guys. They were god awful because it was like they were almost trying to cater to Snoop and try to seem cool.
They were bowing down to Snoop.
I'm like, who are these guys? Who are these? I mean, you got the
respect. There was no. Yeah, it was like respect what you listen. Respect what you do. Okay, and I'm saying that to the boxing historians because Al Bernstein, this guy's a boxing historian.
Yeah.
Like he was around when Tyson first came up.
Yeah.
So, bro, respect your effing craft. What are you doing? I don't blame Snoop Dogg for that because. To be fair,
Snoop was just having a party, bro.
Exactly.
He was having a good time.
He doesn't know boxing etiquette. He doesn't, like we don't know rap etiquette.
He knows a lot more than we give him credit for. The problem is he was just having a good time.
No, the problem is he wasn't getting like you do with me sometimes. You hone me in.
I didn't.
You hone me in. You pull it back a little bit. Just like nobody pulled Oscar back. This guy.
Good Lord, Oscar. What in the world? That's going to be for a
How are we
different
supposed to take him for serious?
I don't even know. He's still smoking cigars with Mario Lopez, doing all this stuff.
Agreed. He's on his Instagram. I'm looking, and I'm like, what are people honestly thinking? We're like, you know what? Oscar had a Hall of Fame boxing career, so we're just going to allow him to do this charade that he's doing. And maybe he actually doesn't ever come back and fight.
I feel like...
Let's just, let him do his charade.
I feel like there's probably a bunch of guys calling his camp like, I want to fight him. I want to fight him. I want to fight him.
100%.
Yeah.
They're knocking that
instead of the other way around, where a lot of times they're trying to find the opponent. These guys are like, I'll fight the crap out of him.
Oh, I promise you that they're not going to have a hard time finding an opponent for him.
No.
They're going to have more of a hard time finding the right opponent for him.
Yeah.
Because
oh my gosh,
there's massive opponents lining up.
There's so many good things going on in boxing and so many not so good things. And that is falling into the realm right now of not so good, which I hate saying that about the Golden Boy. I really do. I really do. Get your stuff in check, man. Frank Mir said, you know what? I just hope he gets the help.
Okay. You know what? I love the Frank Mir. How much money do you think Frank Mir made for that boxing match?
Probably more than his last 3 UFC fights combined.
Okay. Give me a number. and I'll tell you
How
what
much
it
do you
is, 'cause
think?
I know what it is.
Do I think he made in the Triller pay-per-view?
Yep. What do you think he made for that guarantee?
$250,000.
$350,000.
Good for him. Good for him.
He actually made more than Cunningham, who he fought.
Yeah.
Cunningham made 150 G's.
Well,
Granted, still
keep in mind,
great money.
Well, keep in mind, he may have leveraged that up just because that was a last minute deal.
was.
So what's his face dropped out? Was it? Well, who was it? He was supposed to fight. It was supposed to be.
Frank Mir was supposed to fight.
Oh, I could see his face and oh my gosh, it was.
He was an old boxer, though, right?
But he's not super old.
Antonio Tarver.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Right here from Florida.
Yeah.
Not super old at all. I think. Yeah. Not super old at
Something
all.
tells me Frank was getting a quarter and he ended up getting 350.
Yeah.
On that final deal.
I think you're probably
Either
right.
way, former UFC heavyweight champion fought Brock Lesnar. Which that's not really a good comparison of heavyweight champs to the UFC. I understand that, so don't really rip me apart for that. But either way, Frank Mir's been in that game. That's a huge payday for an MMA person. Huge.
You know what? I'm really happy to look at this. I know that Jake Paul ended up making more because Jake Paul's contract was structured differently than everybody else's because he got a percentage of the pay-per-view sales. But
Unreal, bro.
listen to this. Here's the full list of the people on that card that made money.
Okay.
Ben Askren, $500,000,
Base.
which we already knew that.
Base.
That was what he was guaranteed. Win
Nothing to do with buy rate, anything like that.
No.
That's just the base.
So, and this is what people always ask me, and this is coming from the UFC crowd, I think, is that the average person, they're just like, well, what do you get to win? I go, no, boxing, you're guaranteed. Ben Askren made 500 G's guaranteed.
Now, this is going to get a little long, I think,
Out
in
now,
this
brown
episode.
cow.
I think there's something to be said about that. I kind of like that, where the winner gets a little extra juice.
We can talk more about that for sure, but when they get to the big time level, though, like the Conor level,
Doesn't matter as much.
They don't. They structure that the same way they do
here's-
boxing, where they guarantee
Here's how
them
UFC
win or lose.
Here's how UFC pay structures suck, and I know they had just adjusted them, but they adjusted them, and they still suck. Back a couple of years ago, it was like, if you won, you can get a little bit of juice. If you were quote unquote fight of the night, which who votes on
extra
that, by the
juice.
way,
Yeah, Dana
you get even
probably.
more extra juice and a
Probably
lot compared to what you were getting.
Yeah.
You can get like 50K
Yeah.
versus the 15 you were getting.
Yeah.
15? Or knockout of the night or submission of the night, and I think they got rid of one of those because like friend of ours, like a Mike Perry, he won some of those things, and that's how he's getting paid pretty good.
Yeah.
And his contract was pretty decent, but it wasn't like this.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. They get him on these contracts, and so they already
Lock
know.
'em in.
They lock him in.
Yep.
And if you're just that eager, and you don't bet on yourself, you're like, I just need to
want
sign
that
something.
guaranteed. I need
You
that.
could be in a 5 to 6 fight contract, making $15,000 every fight. Are you freaking kidding me?
I think what MMA does, the structures are like 15 to show up, 15 to win. So
insane.
it's like, I'm like, 30 grand.
And how many people are
You
you
go to fight
paying?
whoever.
And you have to pay everybody out. Your whole, your trainer, the
And then if you're Mike
facilities.
Perry, why don't you go ahead and take taxes out as well?
Yes.
And you're looking at 30 grand if you win. You're looking at probably 20% of that is going to manager, trainer, whatever else. Another 10 to 15% probably taxes. I don't know.
usually-
I don't
I
know.
mean, yeah.
Probably at least that. So like you're not walking away. He might be free and clear $12,000
Yeah.
you're walking away with. Which don't get me wrong, great money. But these guys are not going to fight, especially in MMA. After that, he's healing for months.
Maybe I'm just a schmuck, but weekend trav. I'm a family of 4. I ain't living off of 12 grand
No, nobody is.
for
You're not.
a month, 2
You're not.
months, 3 months.
They sell them.
How the hell do you do
they
that?
sell them that dream,
I get it. You get these sponsor dollars, whatever else, but man.
but not now because they structured it in a way
Yeah,
too.
it's a
Now
weird
where
structure.
they Reebok,
It's a weird structure.
and it's tiered.
Well, it's not. I think it's Venom now. I mean, it's like it's.
Is it really?
Well, Venom's the clothing apparel now.
Okay.
I don't know what the shoes are because do you even need shoes?
No, they don't wear shoes.
You don't need shoes. Okay, listen.
Yeah, I'm gonna break down the list.
Let's
again.
do that.
Start
Then we're
the
gonna talk
list.
this, and then we're done.
Okay. So the list. I started with Ben Askren, 500 grand, right?
Base.
Base. But to be fair, this is crazy. I actually didn't know this until just now. But Jake Paul's base, 690 grand. But he's gonna walk away with probably close to 10 mil. I'm telling you, it'll be closer.
I see this.
Upwards of 10
I see
mil.
the 69 in there.
Nice. That's very funny.
Nice.
Ivan Redcash, the guy who quit,
The Phantom low blow.
250K.
He got 250K
250K
to not get hit in the nuts.
to quit and to walk away the next day and be fine.
Guess what? That's your last payday ever, boy.
Yeah, it is. The guy he fought, Regis Prograis, made the most on the entire card, which rightfully so, I think.
Okay.
Boxer.
Legit,
But
okay.
again, boxer.
But
He
what
made
was
more
it?
than Jake
What was his
Paul.
base?
$850.
Yeah, but he probably didn't have the incentive pay. Like,
No,
yeah.
he didn't. No.
This is just base. Just
100%. So
$850.
the only person though that is getting incentives on that is for sure Jake
Main
Paul.
event, sure.
And I bet Askren doesn't
Probably
get
got some.
a tiny bit, probably, because we all know that they bought that because of probably Jake Paul. But anyway, I was actually very surprised that Regis Prograis made $850. That's
for him.
pretty impressive.
Good for him.
That weight class.
And he
pretty
walked out
impressive.
with a horrible plastic, red plastic belt.
Oh god, a belt that was proud. Guys, Triller, I have had a long-lasting relationship with title boxing, but it's because I think their stuff is quality. I bought a belt for one of the contests that I had inside my gym for my fighters that looked 10 times better than the belt you gave your actual pro fighter.
It's terrible.
This was an amateur fighter I gave this to, by the way.
Terrible.
The belt looked 10 times better than what they gave a pro fighter.
I mean, the green WBC.
A pro
was
fighter who
better.
made $850,000.
I think I mentioned it last week. The belts looked like they came out of if you bought the action figure for a pro wrestler back in the day. It looked like that. I feel like it was you were about to punch in that little plastic nub in order to pinch it in. It was terrible, terrible. Do we need to go further down this list? Let's
Frank
hurry up and
Mir,
wrap this up.
350. Steve Cunningham, 150.
Jeez, only
This
150.
Joe Fournier, 220K boxer. I'm like,
220?
Yeah, good for him.
He fought that musician.
Joker.
He
Yes,
fought the musician.
I know.
What'd the musician get?
It doesn't say. Oh wait, is the musician Raycon?
Yes.
Oh, he made 80K. So I'm
But
tired
here's
of
the
people
thing.
griping
Here's
about
the
that
thing.
stuff.
Here's the thing. Cage guys.
They're not
What's
making
your
that.
worth?
Yeah, they're not
My
making
God, you're worth more than that. Why can't we? Where's the uprising? We have uprising in our streets over stupid crap politically. We're not going to get into it. We don't have time for that. Where's the uprising on that? Raycon is getting 80K. He didn't even land a punch. That guy.
Did he even throw a punch?
80K. The worst pay-per-view to watch ever, but top 10 grossing ever.
Which is
80K for that guy?
boxing sells the stuff.
Oh my gosh. And who
Snake
knows
oil-
how much
snake
Pete
oil
Davidson
salesman.
made. Good Lord. Anyways. All right. So we are drinking tonight. Tonight we are drinking Amador whiskey, double barrel, blended bourbon whiskeys, finished with Chardonnay wine barrels. Weekend Trav. Give me your thoughts here.
So I'm going to give two thoughts. One, we are the #1 boxing beard. I said beard.
Because it's only one. Yeah.
Beard.
Yep.
Boxing beard bourbon podcast filmed in Orlando, Florida, specifically Lake Nona, Laureate Park, in a boxing gym in the world.
On Mondays or Sundays.
Or whenever we put it out.
We beat out somebody.
Somebody, for sure. Because
Number one.
You see the guns on this guy? We're beating up. And if he doesn't get
I'll
him,
beat somebody.
I got his back. So we're going to get
Yep.
him. But regardless, the reason I brought it up was because we're in Laureate Park, which is actually a very affluent neighborhood because Charles Woodson lives in the area, as well as Juan Manuel Marquez, Miguel Cotto, some other people.
But Charles Woodson.
But Charles Woodson, because
Super
of
Bowl
the
champ.
Money's Super Bowl champs.
We're ignoring
He
the,
loves Green Bay Packers.
We're
I know, he
ignoring
played for
ignoring the
Raiders.
Oakland Raiders stuff because he was a world champ here.
So the reason why I bring that up is we were at the ABC liquor store, which we should have been Facebook Living. I know. Producer, I know. He did yell at me. But this is Charles Woodson's drink of
Favorite.
choice.
Favorite.
So when the guy told us that, we were like, well, boom, sold. And we can rate it now, and I will rate it, and I'm going high. Like, I don't know what my highest has ever been, but this is going to be pretty close. I'm giving it a 7.9. It is smooth. Like,
See, here's the thing.
it's smooth.
So Weekend Trav, I thought you were going to go 8-1. I thought you were going to go 8-1.
I didn't know if I wanted to break
and
8 or not.
You want to know what sounds so crazy? I was going 7-9.
I mean, great minds think alike.
7-9. That's easy math, ladies and gentlemen. That's a 7.9 boxing gloves out of 10 on this Amador double barrel. It is very smooth. The little placard mentions the slight hint of raisins and this nice vanilla finish and all this other good stuff, and it's finished in the Chardonnay. It's just good. It's smooth. It tastes very good on the palate. I know we've been talking a lot, so we haven't drank a lot of this. Plus, it's a Monday night here, and we both have to work
We got
early.
stuff to do.
But this is very, very, very good. If
I'd
you
sip this stuff
are
regular.
able to get your hands on Amador Whiskey Company, the double barrel, so I don't know about any of their other stuff. If you can, go for it. It's
Batch number 4.
not too hot or anything like that, so it's 86.8 proof, so it's not real. There's not a lot of heat to it, but it's good.
Highly recommend that one.
We're enjoying
Do we
it.
ever really say that? I highly recommend this one. It's so smooth.
In pre-production, I asked Weekend Trev, hey, don't let me linger here after we're done.
He did.
Might be tough right now.
I
Might
know
be a little tough.
because usually even the bad. I'll make it quick, but the bad stuff. Proper 12. Conor McGregor. Terrible. But we drink like half of it. So this stuff, which is actually good. I might start slurring my speech a little bit.
There's some previous episodes, which you can find on YouTube as well as whatever you find your audio podcasts. Find previous episodes of us and fast forward to about halfway through, maybe 3/4 through, and you'll see we're slurring some words.
Yep. Look it up.
But
Listen,
no slurs, but just slurring words.
dude, we're pretty fun. We've been doing this for like, 43 weeks?
43 weeks.
43
Solid.
weeks. Go back and check us out. YouTube, Weighing In with Travis Hartman, Spotify, and then literally every other avenue that you could listen to podcasts, we're on. Check us out.
And then come on now. Subscribe. Don't be a
What
punk.
do you have to lose?
Don't be a punk. I'm just kidding. Because you know what's going to happen if you don't? This guy over here is going to show up to your house one day. He might knock, but if you have a Ring doorbell cam, he might push the button, and then he's going to cover up the camera part. He's going to wait until you get on the audio track and say, hey, who's there? And be like, he's like, hey, it's DoorDash. And you're going to come down thinking, oh, somebody else's food. You're going to open the door, and he's going to be like, hey, are you subscribed to the Weighing In with Travis Hartman YouTube podcast? And you're going to be like, no. He's going to punch you right in the stomach.
That was so fast. This is what I teach my fighters too. You blind them with the jab. This is the jab. Boom!
Boom.
Right hand
Our
sees
light
hand.
is blinding
That's what
us.
happens when I'm knocking on your door.
Hey, but
knock it in.
Usman brought that left hook and that straight right. Hey, UFC, I'll give you props. That was a great pay-per-view. But, hey, what'd you get paid for knocking out Masvidal?
You know what?
Come on.
Wrap this up and I'm going to look it up.
Okay, so to our media partners, you might not be happy with us, but we're happy with you. TH Boxing, IF Enterprises, and Gulfstream Financial, we always thank you. Thank you to our subscribers, our fan base, all few of you. Thank you so much. Please subscribe below. Hit the thumb for liking it, or if you don't like it, I don't care. Hit it too. Hit both of them. I don't know how that metric works.
Dude, he was the main event for a big show, which was in Florida, by the way.
Massive knockout. So he probably got knockout of the night. But
Live
let's not talk about
fans
that.
too. His guaranteed base was 500.
And he's a title holder, dude.
Yeah,
He has a belt.
This was a
and
big
he's
card.
A stud.
This was a big card. They highly advertised it because Masvidal was a
It was
pretty
three-
big
it was
figure.
3 belts.
Yeah,
Now the
500K was his figure.
the chick from Russia, I've been a fan of hers for. I mean,
She put on a show.
She's a stud. I mean, I tell you what.
Can you say that?
She is solid.
we allowed to
Well,
say
no,
that?
that's kind of a weird crossover, isn't it? But no, she's.
kidding.
I can't pronounce her name. I'm not very good at that kind of stuff.
I'm not either because I know that I watched a highlight of it. The girl that kicked the other
No,
girl.
no.
No, not that one.
No, the blonde from Russia.
Oh, I didn't see that one then.
Yeah, she just destroys everybody.
I didn't see that
Anyways, we're getting into a realm that we're not familiar with, so we're gonna sound really stupid. So to you MMA fans that hate us,
We're gonna stay in our lane.
we're staying in our lane right now, but we are entertained when we watch. We are. Because
We do.
you know what? We're
We do.
dudes, and we like combat sports. We're going to have fun. We're going to drink. We're going to watch. We're going to have a good time.
Punch
Just
some
like you
people.
should, too. Because you know what? That's what it's about. Weekend
It is.
Trav.
At the end of the day, it is.
It's about fun.
It's entertainment. Get
Entertainment.
together, have some fun,
It's
Watch
about
people bloody each other up.
it's about ELE.
Everybody love everybody.
With that there over there, and there is Weekend Trav.
That there is B Money, aka producer, aka Stay Buff.
They can't see that though, because it's supposed to be in backwards.
Well, that's why I told them.
Thanks for joining us. God bless.